What's going through your head when Trae Young is putting on a performance like he did last night? I know it's nothing new for you guys to watch him put up a lot of points, but just what he's been able to do consistently in these playoffs.
Sometimes it's just about opportunity. I had, I had that same conversation with JC about just winning games. You want to put yourself in positions to win games. And then from there, you give yourself opportunities to do great things. And we've put our best foot forward. And Trae's at the head of the snake. He gets guys going. He's the reason why we play the type of style of basketball we play, and why we play it with the energy we do. And Milwaukee, I'd say the playoffs, there's a lot about matchups as well. And they're a team that likes to be in the deep drop. Drew wants to get over the screen. And so that leaves him with so much daylight. Not just him, but Kev, Bogey. But he's that guy when it comes to downhill attacks, getting to that floater and playmaking. And this is just, it was a matchup that he was able to take advantage of in game one. I'm sure they're going to make a couple adjustments, but we look for him to be aggressive in every game that we play. And he's been doing that since he was a kid, and he lives for the moment. And we're glad that we're able to put him in a position to do that.
Christos.
Hey, Solo, what's up? Solo?
Can you hear me?
Yeah, you hear me?
What's good, bro?
Great. I would like to ask you, what is the main difference in the team since the end of the first half of that season, and how big is the impact of Coach McMillan into your season?
The biggest difference, is coaching. We just being straight honest, and there's nothing bad or negative against, Lloyd. But everything's a relationship. Everything's a relationship, whether it's Travis in the front office, ownership, all the way down to the players in the locker room. That the relationship speaks volume onto, the ability to play the game. I think Jamal Crawford had said something the other day. It's just about the belief that a coach can have in you that can change your career, Coach Mack is a guy that I have tremendous respect for. It's not to say that I don't have tremendous respect for anybody else, but we have history as well. And just knowing his pedigree, being a guy that has been in the trenches, basically he's been a part of the NBA family for the past 40 years, consecutively. And so, just when you switch up things, some things click. And for us, it was our coaching situation. And Coach Mack has done a marvelous job of preparing us, breathing confidence into us. He doesn't just say, he's not just saying believe because we're in the playoffs. He's been saying that since he took over. And that honest belief that we have, and not just our ability to play the game individually, but it's a bigger belief to play the game as a team. Everybody's paid that price. Everybody comes and works hard. And, he puts that belief in us. Yeah. And sometimes you kind of hear it, especially for a team that hasn't found success in the recent years. But to see that turnaround, to see, those games early on when he took over, I think that ignited something in us to really have that confidence and to be in this situation that we're in and to feel like we're not done.
And also for you, how did you see any similarities between Miami Heat's last season and this season Atlanta Hawks?
Yeah, one of the biggest things that the comparisons is that underdog mentality. We don't need anybody. I look at, there's nothing against anybody on this call, but the media has its own sport in a sense where, you have the people that are watching, whether it's ESPN or TNT, that's its own sport in its own, and then we have our own game. We play the game of basketball and we play for one another. We don't really care about the outside noise or whatever's going on. And that was the same thing in Miami. We didn't care what people thought about us. Spo didn't care. Spo gave excuse my language, he give not two shits about what somebody else said about how he prepared for the game or how he was going into the game or the guys that he had on his team. And I just try to bring that same mentality to the locker room of, we can do this. We don't need, I don't care if everybody said that we're going to win this series. It doesn't make us better. It doesn't mean that we go out there and we play harder because everybody says that. we really don't care. And that was one thing that was huge about Miami, is that it was the belief in ourselves was greater than anybody else's belief in us. There was nobody that wanted to win it all more than the guys in that locker room, and it showed. It showed with sacrifices. It showed with hard work. It showed with the hustle mentality that we had, and that's the same thing showing up here. You know, you got Bogey going out there and playing tremendous defense. You know, I'm talking about a guy that in our first series was able to get hot and make big shots. For him to be able to make a sacrifice and then Kev get hot from offensively, and for Kev to feel comfortable taking up on that role, it speaks a lot about Bogey's, you know, mentality and his unselfishness, and everybody else just follow suit. You know, you're talking about John Collins being able to go out there and just make plays, you know, without the ball in his hands. And those are the things that made the team that I was with last year great, is the fact that we were an unselfish group and we all were focused in on the one goal. And it's the same goal now. We want to win basketball games, however we do.
Zach Klein.
When you see Trey do the shimmy before the shot, are you like, no, yeah? Like, how are you pulling it off in the...
You know, one thing that I love about Coach Mack is he's put him in a position to just be him. You know, I think early on when you're losing some games, and you know, I just watched Trey's AAU tape like a couple of days ago. He's been the same guy. You know, from him to JC, all those guys have been the same guy, and you want him to be him. You want him to have the full confidence in his ability to play the game, because that's how he has nights like that. If anything, he's probably pissed that he didn't have more. You know, I think he had probably like 4 possessions in the fourth quarter where he settled for some long threes, and he thinking to himself he could have really got to it. You know, he could have really pushed past and put pressure on Milwaukee Bucks to change it up. He's a gifted scorer. He's always been a gifted scorer. At every level he's played at, he's shown a tremendous ability to score the basketball, whether they change rules or not. You know, that's huge. That's a huge respect thing that he's getting. The fact that before the season's even over, and one of his more successful years, that the NBA is already ready to change some rules. So you're a little hard out. You know, in the fourth quarter, he knows what time it is. You know, it was the changing of, we don't need you shimmying in the first quarter and trying to put these death blows, but this is his stage. And he's been ready for this. He's been waiting for this. And I think the whole team's excited to go out there and execute and continue to put our players on this big stage. Now you're muted.
I know, man. Any final questions for Solo? I guess we're good to go. Thank you as always.
Thank you.